I'm Gabriel.
I'm Yunlin.
And I'm Connie from a refugee camp near Darfur.
Before you answer this question, imagine yourself the parent of one of these children. What action do you commit to that will get these children back home to a safe Darfur and not letting it be yet another empty promise?
Governor Richardson, what are you going to do? Would you commit American troops?
I was at that refugee camp, and there was a refugee, a woman who came up to me. She'd been raped, her husband had been killed, and she said, when is America going to start helping? This is what I would do. It's diplomacy. It's getting UN peacekeeping troops and not African Union troops. It's getting China to pressure Sudan. It's getting the European Union to be part of economic sanctions in Sudan. It's called leadership. A no-fly zone, I believe, would be an option. But we have to be concerned about humanitarian workers being hurt by planes being shot. The answer here is caring about Africa. The answer here is not just thinking of our strategic interests as a country as oil and Europe and the Middle East. It should be Africa, Asia, and Latin America doing something about poverty, about AIDS, about refugees, about those that have been left behind. That's how we restore American leadership in this country.
You say UN troops. Does that mean American troops?
United Nations peacekeeping troops, and that would primarily be Muslim troops. We need a permanent UN peacekeeping force stationed somewhere. If we get UN peacekeeping troops authorized for Darfur, there's some already there, it'll take 6 months for them to get there. Genocide is continuing there. 200,000 have died, close to 2 million refugees in that region. America needs to respond with diplomacy, with diplomatic leadership.
Senator Biden, in the past you've talked about NATO troops. What about American troops?
Absolutely, positively. Look, I'm so tired of this. Let's get right to it. I heard the same arguments after I came back from meeting with Milosevic. We can't act. We can't send troops there. Where we can, America must. Why Darfur? Because we can. We should now. Those kids will be dead by the time the diplomacy is over. I'm not joking. I've been to that camp. I walked through that camp. You know what happened when I landed? When I landed and the dust settled, a young African aid worker came up to me and he looked at me and he said, "Thank you. Thank you, America, for coming." You don't understand. They don't understand. They think we can save them, and guess what? We can. 2,500 American troops, if we do not get the 21,000 UN troops in there, can stop the genocide now. I call for a no-fly zone. Everybody agreed, but you need troops in the ground.
Time. Senator Gravel?
Problem goes a little deeper than that. It's because we haven't owned up to our responsibilities to a sense of global governance. And so now you've got a situation with the United States of America, as Joe says, wants to go in, but the African nations don't want us there. What's the message? They're afraid of us. They're flat afraid of us. And if you'll permit me, since I haven't got as much time as the others...
Actually, no, you got to answer just directly the question.
Thank you very much,
seconds.
Anderson.
Senator Clinton, do you agree with Senator Biden? American troops should go to Darfur?
I agree completely that what we need to do is start acting instead of talking. That means accelerating the United Nations peacekeeping forces along with the African Union. It means moving more quickly on divestment and sanctions on the Sudanese government, including trying to use the diplomacy to get China involved. And finally, it does mean a no-fly zone. We can do it in a way that doesn't endanger humanitarian relief.
What about American troops on the ground?
I think NATO has to be there with the no-fly zone, and I think that only the United States can provide the logistical support and the airlift to make a no-fly zone and the actual delivery of humanitarian aid work.
Just in the spirit of trying to get at the answer, that means no American ground troops?
American ground troops, I don't think, belong in Darfur at this time. I think we need to focus on the United Nations peacekeeping troops and the African Union troops. We've got to figure out what we're doing in Iraq, where our troops are stretched thin, and Afghanistan, where we're losing the fight to al-Qaeda and bin Laden.